chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven did not forget you. It concealed you. You were not abandoned. You were reserved. Every silent year, every closed door, every moment you thought nothing was happening, heaven was writing your preparation story in invisible ink. You were never disqualified. You were being refined behind the curtain of time. There were seasons when you looked around and saw others rising while you remained still. But God whispered, "Stay hidden until I call your name." He was building depth where the world only values display. He was shaping a foundation that could hold eternal weight. The waiting room became your training ground. Every unanswered prayer, every delay, was divine intention. You didn't miss your season. It simply wasn't your appointed hour. Heaven was aligning the stage, the people, and the timing. The silence that surrounded you wasn't emptiness. It was sacred incubation. You were being prepared to carry what others could not bear. You've been wondering why doors closed that seemed perfect. It's because the wrong platforms would have crushed what God placed inside you. Beloved, understand this. The hidden season is proof that you are chosen. God hides his most precious vessels until they are ready to shine without shattering. You were never behind. You were under construction. The world saw nothing, but heaven saw becoming. And now listen, the stirring you feel in your spirit is heaven's announcement. The hiding is over. The seal is breaking. The same God who called Moses from obscurity, who raised David from the fields, now calls your name in the Spirit. Rise. Chosen one, you are stepping from private process into public purpose. The breaking you felt was not punishment, it was activation. The tears you cried watered the soil that now births your destiny. Every night of loneliness was teaching you to hear his voice without noise. You are not just emerging, you are being revealed. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Those words echo like a divine trumpet through your soul. Wait for the Lord. That's what you did. Even when you didn't realize it. You waited through silence, through confusion, through pain, and because you waited, your strength is being renewed. Now, the Spirit of God says, move, not out of impatience, but out of readiness. Your name is being spoken in rooms you have never entered. Your anointing is calling forth opportunities aligned with your assignment. The light you carry is about to collide with the darkness that once tried to silence you. You are not emerging to seek validation. You are emerging to release transformation. You have been formed by the fire of hiddenness. Now you are ready to release heaven's fragrance. The world will look at you and wonder, where did this one come from? And heaven will answer, from the secret place. Oh, beloved, it's time. The years that felt wasted will testify of God's wisdom. The silence was not the absence of God, it was his artistry. He was painting your purpose with invisible strokes. Now the canvas is ready to be revealed. So lift your head, straighten your crown, walk into your destiny with confidence. The one who hid you is now the one revealing you. If this word resonates in your spirit, like, share, and comment to let heaven know you receive it. Subscribe and stay aligned with the messages God is sending to his chosen ones. And finally, as a prophetic act of agreement, comment 777 below to declare, my hidden season is over. I rise now into my calling. You have been preserved through storms that broke others, yet here you stand stronger, softer, and wiser. The hidden season taught you endurance, compassion, and faith that no crowd could give. Every hidden year has become your armor, and now that armor gleams with divine purpose. Heaven celebrates your perseverance. The angels who watched you cry now prepare to watch you conquer. You are walking into rooms already prepared for your arrival. The favor you prayed for in secret will now surround you openly, and every delay will turn to divine acceleration. You are stepping into a prophetic timeline. Every step is guided, every connection heaven-sent. Walk in boldness. Chosen one, you were hidden for this exact moment. And now that moment has arrived. The spotlight of heaven shines, not to glorify you, but to glorify the one who sent you. So breathe deeply. Feel destiny unfold like dawn after the longest night. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven pressed pause on everything around you to deliver this message. Your time has come. Rise and take your place in the unfolding story of redemption. There is a mystery in isolation that few ever understand. Below, chosen one. When God removes the crowd, He is not punishing you. He is protecting you from premature exposure. The isolation test is sacred ground. It's where heaven rewrites your identity, away from the noise of comparison and the echo of human approval. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were hidden for divine conversation. In the stillness, the Father began to whisper things He could never tell you while you were surrounded by noise. He drew you away, not because you were unworthy, but because He needed to train your ears to hear a frequency the world could not perceive. Loneliness became the classroom where you learned heaven's language. The silence, though painful, was your initiation. When others walked out, it wasn't rejection, it was divine reduction. God was making room for His glory. The isolation you feared was actually His shadow hovering over you, keeping you unseen until your roots were deep enough to handle your fruit. Many crave visibility, but visibility without depth leads to collapse. You were being anchored, even while you felt adrift. The isolation season exposed everything that was false. It revealed which voices you had trusted too easily, which opinions shaped you more than God's word. It showed you that even without applause, you are still anointed. Even without witnesses, your worship still shakes the heavens. That is what isolation teaches, the difference between performance and presence. As the prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. After the fire came a gentle whisper. In that solitude, He showed you who you truly are. The isolation stripped away false labels and counterfeit identities. You learned that value does not depend on visibility, and calling is not confirmed by company. You were learning to walk with God alone, and in doing so, you found unshakable strength. Do you remember those nights when silence pressed heavy on your chest? That was the sound of transformation. Heaven was rewiring your spirit. You were shedding layers of fear, of people-pleasing, of needing to be understood. The wilderness was not your punishment, it was your purification. Every great one in Scripture endured this. Moses in the desert, David in the fields, Elijah in the cave, and even Jesus in the wilderness. Isolation Precedis, revelation. Before power comes purification. Before purpose comes pruning. God does not send an untested vessel into battle, and you were being forged in solitude for the battles of destiny. In that secret place, you faced your weaknesses. You confronted your doubts, your anger, your exhaustion. You wrestled with your humanity until your spirit learned to rise above it. You discovered that when everything else fades, God remains enough. You learned to lean on Him in ways you never had to before. That dependence became your strength. The enemy tried to convince you that you were abandoned. He whispered that no one cared, that your prayers bounced off the ceiling, but heaven smiled. Because God knew this was the test that would prove your faith real. And you passed. You stayed when leaving felt easier. You believed when believing seemed foolish. That kind of faith terrifies darkness. Now, you carry something that cannot be taught in comfort: depth. You have an authority that comes only from isolation, the kind that speaks peace into chaos, that carries calm in the middle of storms. You know now that solitude was not the absence of God, but the amplification of His presence. Beloved, look back and see how far you've come. You no longer fear silence. You no longer dread being unseen. The isolation has become your sanctuary. You now recognize that separation was preparation, and the loneliness was love in disguise. Heaven is proud of your endurance. You didn't break, you became. You didn't fade, you were formed. Every hidden tear watered the roots of your destiny. You emerged with a spirit, unshakable, with eyes that see beyond appearances, and with a heart that beats in rhythm with heaven. You are ready for what comes next, because you know now that God's presence in the cave is more valuable than any crowd. And when the time comes to step out again, you'll do it, not seeking recognition, but carrying revelation. The isolation test is over. You are not who you were when you entered it. You are refined, anchored, and awakened. Heaven's whisper still echoes within you, gentle, yet unstoppable. You are ready, chosen one. The fire you faced was not sent to destroy you, it was sent to refine you. Every heartbreak, betrayal, and disappointment was part of heaven's holy forge. The pain you felt was never random, it was purposeful. God allowed the fire not to burn you, but to burn away everything that could not stay. You wondered why the heat of life's trials felt relentless. Why, every time you thought you were free, another wave came. But the Spirit whispers, it was the refining fire. Heaven does not anoint what has not been tested. You have been through the kind of pain that transforms ordinary souls into eternal flames. In the furnace of affliction, your spirit learned to bow without breaking. You lost things you thought you needed, only to realize that God was removing what couldn't walk with you into your next season. Fire has a way of revealing what is pure. The people who left, the opportunities that crumbled, even the dreams that died, they were part of your purification. It hurt. Yes, the flames licked your faith until you thought you would crumble. But something happened in that sacred fire. Your soul began to glow. The pain stripped you of false strength so that divine strength could rise from within. You were refined, not ruined. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 3, the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold. But the Lord tests the heart. Sammy, that's what He was doing, testing the heart. When you cried out, "Why me?" Heaven was answering, because you carry something precious. Only those destined to carry glory are allowed to walk through such heat. Every flame that surrounded you was heaven declaring, "This one is worth refining." You see, the fire exposes everything superficial. It reveals the motives, the fears, the hidden fractures. It brings to light the unspoken bitterness, the quiet unbelief, the pride that hides in corners of the soul. And yet, it also awakens courage, humility, and compassion. The refining fire births balance. It teaches you to burn without bitterness and to shine without arrogance. There were moments when you thought you lost everything, but in truth, you were being purified of everything that hindered your light. God was melting away the excess so that what remained would be unbreakable. The gold that emerges from such a process carries brilliance that cannot fade. Beloved, the furnace is not your final destination. It's the passageway. The enemy tried to convince you that you were being destroyed. But what he didn't know was that heaven was using his own flames to refine you. The very things that tried to consume you became the reason you now shine brighter. When you look back, you'll see that every trial carried a hidden gift. The rejection taught you identity. The betrayal taught you boundaries. The loss taught you gratitude. Even the loneliness taught you intimacy with God. Every scar became sacred. You carry now what cannot be counterfeited, tested faith. The kind that doesn't crumble when storms come. The kind that still praises when nothing makes sense. You no longer serve God for comfort. You serve Him from conviction. The fire made your worship authentic. It burned away performance until only truth remained. The refining fire also gave you discernment. You can now sense deception before it speaks. You see motives behind smiles, energy behind words. The Holy Spirit sharpened your senses in the furnace, so you would never again be easily deceived. And perhaps most beautifully, you've learned to trust the timing of the flames. You no longer rush out of seasons before they're finished. You've learned that endurance is not punishment, it's maturity. You stay in the process until purpose is complete. Do you realize what that means? Chosen one, you have become dangerous to darkness. The same fire that tried to consume you has become your weapon. You now carry holy heat wherever you go. Demons flee because they recognize the glow of one who has been through fire and lived. This is why your story matters. Others may crumble under the pressure you survived. You are proof that pain can purify instead of paralyze. Your endurance is a prophecy. Your scars are sermons. You have become living evidence that the refining fire still works. Now, I invite you to mark this moment. Leave a prophetic echo beneath this message. Type the words, "I am purified." Do not type it as a ritual, but as revelation. When you write it, you are declaring to heaven and to hell alike that you understand your process. You are acknowledging that the fire has done its work, and you are ready to carry the glory it produced. Say it with conviction. I am purified. That declaration seals your transformation. It announces that no flame, nor failure, no fear will ever hold you again. Because when gold has been tested, it no longer fears the heat. And you, beloved chosen one, you are that gold, chosen one. When you walked through the darkness and the silence seemed unbearable, heaven was not absent, it was whispering. In those hidden nights when you searched for a voice, a sign, or even a sense of direction, God was speaking in ways you could not yet understand. His voice was not thunder, It was breath, not a shout. It was a whisper that only the refined can hear. This is the secret of the chosen. When the world grows loud, heaven grows quiet. Because God does not compete with noise. He waits until your soul is still enough to receive. That stillness you feared was not emptiness, it was calibration. The Spirit was tuning your heart to heaven's frequency. Every silence, every unanswered prayer was training your ears to discern divine patterns. You mistook the absence of sound for the absence of God. But silence has never meant abandonment. The truth is, He was nearer than He had ever been. The whisper is the sound of closeness. The softer His voice, the nearer His presence. When the noise of life fades, the divine dialogue begins, as Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep listen to my voice, I know them, and they follow me." And those words hold the key to your journey. The shepherd never stopped speaking. You simply had to learn how to listen beyond sound. That is why He removed distractions. That is why He permitted silence. Because if you can hear Him there, you will hear Him anywhere. You learned that His whisper does not always bring comfort. Sometimes it brings correction. Sometimes it exposes wounds you tried to bury. Sometimes it stirs conviction where you sought convenience. But even those moments were holy, because only those who are truly loved are corrected in whispers, not in storms. He spoke to you about trust when everything around you was falling apart. He told you to forgive when bitterness felt justified. He instructed you to rest when your flesh wanted to fight. These weren't random thoughts. They were whispers from eternity, shaping your spirit into His likeness. And do you know what's beautiful? You didn't always obey perfectly, but you kept listening. You learned to distinguish guilt from conviction, emotion from revelation, impulse from instruction. You began to realize that God's tone carries peace, even when His words bring challenge. That peace became your confirmation. Many people crave signs, but the chosen learn to follow the whisper. Because signs can be counterfeited, but peace cannot. That's why the enemy tried to overwhelm you with confusion, to make you question whether you were really hearing from God. But the silence taught you something invaluable. Truth never rushes. It waits to be recognized. You've come to understand that divine communication is less about volume and more about alignment. The more your heart aligns with His, the clearer the whisper becomes. Sometimes it comes through scripture, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through stillness that speaks louder than words. And every time, it reminds you, you are seen, known, and guided. The whisper in the dark carried power because it was never meant to impress you, it was meant to shape you. It reminded you that guidance is not about directions, it's about relationship. God does not simply give you a map, He becomes the compass inside you. That's why He brought you into seasons where only His presence made sense. Now you understand why you couldn't hear Him in the chaos. The noise of fear, anxiety, and striving had to be silenced so the whisper of purpose could emerge. The quiet became your sanctuary. What others call emptiness, you now call intimacy. You've learned that silence is the language of trust, where God speaks most clearly to those willing to wait. So, when the next wave of uncertainty comes, you won't panic. You'll remember the lessons of the dark, that God's whispers are stronger than any storm. You'll pause, breathe, and listen, not to find Him, but to realize He never left. chosen one. The whispers in the dark were not warnings, they were invitations. Invitations into closeness, maturity, and partnership. Every gentle word from heaven shaped your steps, even when you didn't know where you were going. And now, that voice you once struggled to recognize has become your anchor. You have learned the sacred art of stillness. You have discovered that divine communication is not about demanding answers but discerning presence. The voice that once felt distant now dwells within you, guiding your every step, steadying your every breath. You walk now as one who listens differently, not to react, but to respond. The whispers of God have become your compass, your rhythm, your peace. Chosen one. The awakening has begun. Heaven is calling your name. Not in a whisper this time, but in a voice that shakes the walls of the unseen. You have passed through the hiding, the isolation, and the refining fire. Now, heaven says, arise. This is your hour of recognition. Everything you endured was for this divine unveiling. When the morning breaks after a long night, the horizon doesn't rush. It reveals light slowly, like a secret unfolding. That's how your destiny is manifesting now, step by step, breath by breath. What was hidden within you is emerging into the open. You are awakening into your purpose, and the whole of creation is holding its breath to witness it. Do you feel it? The stirring inside your chest that doesn't let you rest. That is destiny knocking. That is the voice of heaven declaring that delay has expired. The doors you thought were sealed are now unlocking. The rooms that once ignored you are now calling your name. You are walking into divine visibility, not for fame, but for function. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Oh, these words are not ancient poetry, they are your present reality. The glory that once covered you in hiddenness is now rising upon you as light. You are becoming the reflection of what heaven always saw. You are no longer a secret. You are a signal, a divine lighthouse standing in a stormy world, guiding others home. Like a seed that breaks open beneath the soil, your obscurity was never death. It was transformation. The pressure, the darkness, the waiting, it all prepared you to pierce the surface. And now, as you emerge into light, the world will marvel at the beauty that comes from obedience. You will bloom in places where nothing was expected to grow. This awakening will not be loud or desperate. It will be steady, sacred, unstoppable. The anointing on your life will speak louder than words ever could. People will be drawn to your peace, your authenticity, your strength. They will sense something holy, something real, and that something is the presence you carry. But hear this truth gently. Awakening is not the end, it's the beginning. When a soul awakens, responsibility awakens with it. You are not called just to rise, you are called to reach, to speak life, to give hope, to shine light where darkness has claimed territory. Your awakening is heaven's invitation to partnership. This mission, we walk together, these messages, these words are not entertainment. They are lifelines. Every moment you spend listening, every word you share becomes a ripple in eternity. When you share this message, you aren't promoting a voice, you're spreading a sound that awakens souls. You're extending the reach of heaven's whisper into hearts that are breaking in silence. So, if this word is breathing life into your spirit, I invite you gently, sincerely to become part of this divine work. Like, share, and subscribe, not for the sake of numbers, but for the sake of light. Every action you take becomes a spark in someone else's darkness. It's how revival spreads in a digital wilderness, one faithful act at a time. And if your heart feels stirred to go deeper, to support the expansion of these messages, to reach more souls who sit in silence right now, then consider planting a seed, not because you're asked out of obligation, but because you understand what generosity does in heaven's economy. Your giving becomes fuel for the flame. Your support helps keep the light burning where despair tries to reign. Think of it as oil for the lamp. Each drop matters. Together, we become keepers of the flame. When you give, you are not just donating, you are partnering in divine awakening. Every gesture, every offering, becomes a prayer in motion. You see, generosity is not measured by the amount, but by the intent. A candle doesn't compare its flame to another, it simply shines. And that is all heaven asks of you. Shine where you are. Give what you can. Love without restraint. Your light, joined with others, creates a constellation of hope across the world. Beloved, this is your moment to rise and reflect the glory that has always been inside you. You are the dawn after the longest night, the song after silence, the spark after ashes. Heaven has waited for this moment. Your awakening, your your emergence. Stand tall, lift your gaze, and walk boldly into what God prepared long ago. The light you carry is not fragile, it's eternal. And as you rise, know this, you are not rising alone. We rise together, one chosen soul at a time, until the whole earth glows with the radiance of divine purpose. Chosen one, you have walked through fire, silence, and solitude, and now heaven begins to clothe you in something you have never worn before: authority. Not the kind the world recognizes, built on titles or thrones, but the kind that flows from surrender. This authority is unseen but undeniable. It changes atmospheres when you enter a room, shifts destinies when you speak, and commands storms to be still without you even raising your voice. You are not who you were before. The pain purified you. The silence sensitized you. And now heaven crowns you with the mantle of divine authority. This mantle is not about power, it's about purpose. You carry it not to control but to cover, not to dominate but to deliver. Authority in the kingdom of heaven doesn't come from what you conquer, it comes from what you endure. Every heartbreak you survived, every betrayal you forgave, every loss you surrendered, they all wove threads into this spiritual garment. And now, that invisible robe rests upon your shoulders. You feel it even when you cannot describe it. It is weight and warmth. At the same time, a reminder that heaven trusts you with influence, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. When you walk into places of despair, hope stirs again. When you speak into chaos, order begins to align. You are not just surviving seasons anymore, you are governing them. That is what divine authority looks like. You carry the atmosphere of heaven wherever you go, But this mantle comes with responsibility. You can no longer speak carelessly or act impulsively. Authority without character breeds destruction. But you have been forged in humility. You know what it costs to carry glory. You have learned that true power is restraint, not control. You don't need to prove who you are. Your presence does that for you. Every chosen one carries a realm, an invisible territory assigned by heaven. Yours might be your home, your city, your workplace, or even your online space. Wherever you are, the authority you carry releases divine order. You become the gatekeeper who allows light in and darkness out. Do not underestimate this moment. The mantle is not symbolic, it's active. When you pray, things move. When you decree, heaven responds. You are no longer begging for breakthrough, you are becoming the breakthrough. That is the shift from being hidden to being appointed. Still, remember, authority is not about being served. It is about serving with fire in your spirit and tenderness in your heart. You have been entrusted with influence to lift others, not to exalt yourself. You are called to use your voice to defend the voiceless, to rebuild what others abandoned, to speak life into the forgotten corners of the world. This is why heaven took its time with you. Quick fame cannot carry divine fire. Only the patient, the broken, the yielded can. You are ready because you learned to wait. You are ready because you learned to listen. And now, God releases you into your assignment, not with a shout, but with authority that resonates through your very being. When you wake tomorrow, know this: the unseen realm recognizes you. Angels walk with you, light follows you. Your words are no longer casual, they are keys. Your prayers are no longer requests, they are decrees. The mantle of authority does not make you better than others. It makes you responsible for them. You are heaven's ambassador on earth. Beloved, feel the weight of that crown, but do not let it intimidate you. You were shaped for this. The same God who gave you authority will teach you how to walk in it with grace. You will lead not by dominance, but by presence, not by instruction, but by example. Your humility will speak louder than any sermon ever could. If your spirit recognizes what has been spoken, let this be your seal of agreement. Comment 444 below. That number symbolizes divine order and angelic alignment. When you write it, you are declaring that heaven's structure is manifesting in your life, that you are ready to govern what God has entrusted to you. Let it not be a number typed in haste, but a declaration from your soul. I walk in divine authority. I am aligned with heaven's order. Now rise. Mantle bearer, step into the world, not as who you were, but as who you have become, anointed, appointed, and crowned with the authority of heaven itself. Chosen one. There comes a moment when heaven pulls back the veil, and what was hidden begins to emerge. This is the unveiling, the moment when all that God formed in the dark steps into the light. It is not sudden fame, it is divine revelation. The world begins to see what heaven has seen all along. The version of you that was once misunderstood, dismissed, or underestimated begins to shine with unmistakable purpose. The unveiling is not an event, it is a process. It doesn't happen in a single day, but in a series of divine unveilings, layer by layer, moment by moment. Each time you walk in obedience, another veil falls. Each time you choose faith over fear, the true you becomes clearer. The unveiling is heaven's gentle way of saying, "Now the world can see what I have always known." This unveiling is sacred because it requires humility. Visibility without purity corrupts quickly. But you have been refined long enough to handle the light. You know now that exposure is not about ego, it is about assignment. When people look at you, they must not see performance, they must see transformation. The unveiling is not meant to glorify you, it is meant to glorify the one who formed you in secret. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 6, "For God, who said, 'Let light shine out of darkness,' made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ." Noten, the unveiling begins with that light. It shines first within you, before it shines through you. It is the inner illumination that exposes fear, doubt, and pride, until nothing remains but purity and surrender. That's when the light spills over and begins to touch others. When the unveiling happens, people won't just hear your words, they'll feel the presence behind them. This process, however, is not always comfortable. Being seen means being scrutinized. The unveiling brings attention, and attention attracts both admiration and opposition. But you are ready, because you learned in the hidden season how to draw strength from solitude and peace from prayer. You are not rising unprepared, you are rising anchored. As you step into visibility, you will realize that the unveiling is not about becoming someone new, it is about remembering who you've always been. The lies that life told you begin to crumble. The labels others placed on you fall away. The reflection in the mirror begins to resemble heaven's blueprint again. You recognize yourself, the version that was buried under fear and expectation. There will be people who are startled by your light. Some will question your sudden change, unable to comprehend the years of silence that prepared you. Others will celebrate your emergence, sensing the divine timing of your rise. Do not waste energy proving yourself to anyone. The unveiled do not argue, they radiate. You will begin to notice divine connections forming souls who recognize your light because theirs burns with the same flame. These are your people, your tribe, the ones who were also hidden, refined, and now revealed. Together, you will form networks of light across the world. Silent, yet powerful. Humble, yet unstoppable. The unveiling of one always signals the awakening of many. Yet, as heaven lifts the veil, remember to stay grounded. The light that reveals can also blind if you forget its source. Stay close to the secret place where your journey began. Keep your heart tender, your spirit teachable, and your motives pure. The unveiling is not the destination, it is the beginning of impact. The stage God gives you is not for applause, it is for assignment. There will be moments when the weight of visibility feels heavy, when expectations press against your chest. In those moments, return to the whisper. Remember that what sustains you is not the crowd's approval, but heaven's presence. The unveiled do not live for recognition, they live for revelation. Chosen one. You are stepping into the light, not as an accident, but as fulfillment. You are the answer to prayers, whispered long ago. You are the living proof that God can take what was hidden, broken, and silent, and make it radiant, whole, and powerful. The unveiling is heaven's testimony that the dark season was worth it. Every tear, every silent night, every hidden year, they were all part of the unveiling's glory. You were being formed for this. You were never forgotten. And now, as the veil lifts, walk gently but boldly. You do not need to force what God is revealing. The light will do its work. The unveiling is your divine confirmation. The time appointed has arrived, and heaven is ready to show the world what it created in secret. Chosen one, as you rise, the unseen world begins to tremble. The light that was once hidden within you is now visible, and darkness cannot ignore it. The moment you stepped into purpose, a ripple moved through both heaven and hell. For every chosen one who awakens, there is always resistance. The clash of realms has begun not to destroy you, but to reveal the magnitude of what you carry. You must understand this. Light and darkness cannot coexist peacefully. When light enters, darkness reacts. It fights for the territory it once occupied in your mind, your emotions, your atmosphere. This is not punishment, it is confirmation. Resistance is evidence of movement. The war that surrounds you now proves that your obedience carries weight in eternity. In this season, you may feel the pressure increase, the spiritual fatigue, the sudden opposition, the misunderstandings from people you thought would support you. But none of it means you are losing. It means you are becoming visible to both realms. Heaven celebrates your awakening, and hell recognizes a threat. You are no longer invisible. You have become a living declaration that light wins. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Lo, those words are your anchor. When the spiritual noise grows loud, you are not called to strive, you are called to stand. The same God who delivered Israel from their enemies surrounds you now. The battle may roar around you, but your assignment remains: to shine, to stand, to stay. The war is not your burden to win, it is heaven's battle to display. But here is the divine mystery. The more darkness resists, the brighter your light becomes. You are not just surviving the clash, you are redefining the balance of it. The territory of your life that was once battleground is becoming holy ground. The same places where you once struggled are becoming testimonies of victory. Do not be surprised when warfare rises from unexpected places: relationships, finances, thoughts. The adversary always aims for distraction. He cannot destroy your destiny, so he attempts to drain your focus. Yet, remember, authority was given to you in the last season. You no longer fight from weakness, you fight from revelation. The battle is not fought to win, it is fought to remind darkness that it already lost. Sometimes warfare doesn't look like chaos, it looks like fatigue, isolation, or sudden waves of fear. When that happens, pause, breathe, whisper truth into the atmosphere. Remind the darkness that you know who you are and whose you are. Your awareness alone becomes warfare. Every time you choose peace over panic, light expands. Every time you choose faith over frustration, darkness loses ground. This clash is not happening to harm you, it's happening to train you. You are learning to wield peace as a weapon, worship as a strategy, and stillness as strength. You are learning to speak the language of authority, not anxiety. Heaven is teaching your spirit how to remain unshaken even when the air feels heavy. You must also realize that some storms around you are not personal, they're positional. The enemy attacks based on potential. He sees where you're heading, and he fears what your obedience will accomplish. That's why, the closer you move toward purpose, the louder the chaos becomes. It's the sound of darkness, losing control. This is the reality of the chosen life. Every step toward light exposes shadow. Every act of obedience triggers resistance. But what the enemy forgets is that every attack becomes a doorway for greater revelation. Each wave that tries to drown you pushes you closer to the shore of destiny. You cannot lose when your strength is sourced in God. Beloved, let this truth settle in your heart. The war you're in is not about your past, it's about your future. Hell attacks what heaven anoints. The fact that you are under fire means you have become a vessel of light that threatens the old order. The shaking around you is proof that something unshakable has been planted within you. So, stand your ground. Don't bow to fear. Don't retreat into silence. You are not fighting for victory, you are enforcing it. The authority you gained in secret is now being demonstrated in public. Angels surround you. Heaven backs you. Every whisper of fear is being drowned out by the roar of divine protection. Stay still. Stay pure. Stay lit. The same God who called you out of hiding will carry you through the storm. The realm of darkness may rage, but the throne of heaven remains unmoved. And you, chosen one, belong to that unshakable kingdom. Chosen one. The winds are rising again. But this time you are not afraid. You have faced storms before, storms that tried to bury you. Storms that tried to silence you. Storms that made you question whether you would ever see light again. Yet here you are, standing stronger than before. The same wind that once tore through your peace now bends beneath your authority. You no longer fear the storm, you understand its purpose. Every storm that comes into the life of the chosen is a classroom. It doesn't arrive to destroy, but to develop. It teaches you where your anchor truly lies. It exposes what is fragile and what is firm. You used to beg for calm, but now you listen for instruction, because you know that when the winds roar, heaven is speaking through motion. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 17. The Lord stood by me and gave me strength, so that through me the message might be fully proclaimed. Those words are the heartbeat of this moment. The same Lord who stood beside Timothy stands beside you now. You are not alone in the wind. You are being steadied by unseen hands. The storm does not signify absence, it reveals presence. When everything else shakes, the nearness of God becomes undeniable. The winds may rage, but they are not random. Every gust is guiding you toward alignment. The people who left, the plans that failed, the detours that confused you, they were all the wind's work. God used the storm as a sculptor uses chisels. The cutting was painful, but the shaping was beautiful. You are being molded into someone unshakable. You once prayed for peace that silenced every storm, but now you carry peace within the storm. That is spiritual maturity. It's the ability to remain still while everything around you shifts. The chosen do not chase calm, they create it. When chaos surrounds you, your spirit remains anchored. Not because the winds stop, but because you've learned who commands them. Sometimes you think you're being tested, when in truth, you're being trusted. God allows storms to prove not your weakness, but your readiness. If He permitted this level of shaking, it's because He knows you can handle it. You are not fragile. you are fortified. You have learned to worship in the wind, to pray in the rain, to sing when thunder tries to drown your voice. That's what it means to stand in the storm. Look around. Beloved, notice how much stronger your spirit feels compared to the last time you faced a trial. What once made you tremble now barely makes you flinch. You have grown into someone who no longer measures God's faithfulness by visible results, but by invisible peace. You can stand still while waves crash, because you've discovered that stillness is not passivity, it's power. And though you may not realize it, your endurance inspires others. People are watching how you hold your ground when everything shakes. They see your calm and don't understand it, but they feel it. You've become a silent sermon, preaching faith without words. Your composure in the chaos is revealing the character of Christ to those who have lost hope. The storm that once isolated you has now elevated you. It placed you on higher ground. It separated you from shallow waters and pulled you into deeper faith. You've learned that survival is not the goal, transformation is. Each gust of wind has been chiseling you into the image of endurance itself. And though the storm still howls, you now stand not as a victim, but as a vessel. Your spirit has become a lighthouse, anchored, unwavering, and radiant. Others who are drowning in doubt will find direction because of your light. That is the hidden purpose of your storm, not to destroy, but to direct. Beloved chosen one, this is your moment of divine stability. You are no longer the same. You are unshakable because your foundation is eternal. Heaven has invested too much in you to let you fall now. So lift your eyes, feel the rain on your face, and realize the storm is no longer against you, it's carrying you. If this word resonates in the deepest part of your spirit, type the words, "I stand firm." End of flow. Type them as a declaration of faith, not a reaction to fear. When you write those words, you are agreeing with heaven's decree that your foundation will not crumble, that your peace will not shatter, and that your light will not flicker. You are proclaiming that the storm may roar, but you remain still. Say it with authority, "I stand firm." That is your victory cry. That is the sound of one who has weathered the winds and discovered that peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in the presence of God, chosen one. What you have walked through was never in vain. Every wound, every whisper, every wilderness, it all brought you here, to this sacred threshold where purpose and confirmation meet. Heaven is not guessing about your calling. It has already been declared, confirmed, and sealed. You stand now on holy ground, between what was hidden and what is revealed, between preparation and manifestation. There comes a moment when destiny stops being a mystery and begins to make sense. Suddenly, all the scattered pieces align like stars forming a constellation. That's where you are now, the place where heaven's handwriting becomes visible on the pages of your life. You don't need to chase validation. The evidence of your calling will speak for itself. The same God who whispered your name in secret is now confirming it before witnesses. It is written in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 30. Those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. You are part of that divine sequence, predestined, called, justified, and now glorified through obedience. This confirmation doesn't come with applause, it comes with peace. It doesn't shout, It settles. It's the quiet realization that you are finally standing where you were always meant to be. Heaven has been waiting for this version of you, not the one striving to prove worth, but the one surrendered enough to be used. You've stopped running after opportunities and started walking in alignment. You no longer ask, "Am I ready?" Because readiness is not about perfection, it's about trust. The signs of confirmation are all around you. People begin to echo what God already spoke in your spirit. Doors open with effortless grace. Peace remains, even when logic says it shouldn't. That's the fingerprint of divine confirmation. It flows. It aligns. It breathes. And yet, even in this beautiful unfolding, God gently reminds you to stay grounded. The spotlight of heaven is never meant to blind. It's meant to illuminate your path. Keep your eyes on the source, not the stage. You are the vessel, not the flame, the instrument, not the song. Beloved, when you hear these words, know that you are part of something larger than yourself. These messages, these moments of revelation, are seeds being scattered into hearts all over the world. And you, by listening, by receiving, by sharing, become part of the divine harvest. Every Amen, every shared video, every act of connection becomes another spark of light in the darkness. If this word is confirming something within you, then let your heart respond. Like, share, and subscribe, not for vanity, but for vision. Each act is a ripple, spreading truth to those still searching in shadows. You never know whose midnight prayer will be answered by the light you help share. And if your spirit feels led to go beyond listening to partner with what heaven is doing here, then consider supporting this movement. Think of it not as a transaction, but as a torch transfer. When you give, you are placing oil in the lamps that light others' paths. Every offering becomes fuel for the message, keeping it alive for those who need hope the most. You might wonder, does my small act really matter? Beloved, it does. A single candle in a dark room changes everything. A single drop of water starts the river. Your faithfulness, your generosity, your engagement, they all build a bridge for someone else's breakthrough. Heaven multiplies what is sown in sincerity. Consider it this way. The messages that reach you are not just words, they are spiritual nourishment. And when you share, support, or sow, you are feeding countless other souls who are starving for hope. You become part of the invisible network of grace that carries light into places where despair has made its home. The confirmation of your calling is not only personal, it's communal. You are part of a body, a movement of light, a growing constellation of chosen ones rising around the world. Together, we reflect the heart of God to those who have forgotten that light still exists. So, as you walk in this new certainty, remember that every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every prayer you whisper for this mission keeps the fire alive. Heaven says every gesture, even the quiet ones, your journey, chosen one, is not ending here. It is deepening. Confirmation is not closure, it's commissioning. You are being released into a new dimension of purpose, one where your voice carries healing, your presence carries peace, and your life carries evidence that God still writes miracles into ordinary days. Take a breath and feel heaven's nod of approval over you. You have been tested, proven, and confirmed. The call on your life is not pending, it's active. Walk forward, shine gently, and never underestimate the power of what you carry. And as you do, remember, you're not walking alone. You are surrounded by a global family of chosen ones, all rising, all glowing, all carrying the same eternal flame. Let's keep that fire burning together. Chosen one. Heaven keeps perfect record of every moment you thought was lost. The years that felt wasted, the seasons that seemed silent, none of them disappeared into nothingness. They were stored, guarded, and prepared for redemption. You may have mourned over time that seemed stolen, but in the kingdom of God, nothing truly vanishes. Time is never lost. It is only waiting for resurrection. This is the mystery of divine restoration. What you thought was gone forever is not gone. It is being gathered. Every tear, every delay, every detour has been collected like scattered pearls in the hands of the Eternal One. You are standing now in a moment of recovery. The winds that once stripped you bare will now return what they took, multiplied and refined. It is hard to understand this when you are still surrounded by the aftermath of waiting. You may still feel weary, still see the ruins, still wonder if what was broken can ever be rebuilt. But listen carefully, the same God who created time is not limited by it. What he promised is not bound by calendars or clocks. Heaven is never late. It simply moves at the speed of transformation, as was declared in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. On it, expands it, sanctifies it. What returns carries glory that the former season could not hold. This is why the enemy fought you so hard. He wasn't after your possessions, he was after your time. He wanted to make you believe that too much had passed, that you were too late, that your prime was over. But what the enemy overlooked is that delay is not denial, it is divine redirection. The years you thought were wasted became the foundation of wisdom you now walk in. Heaven is a master of divine arithmetic. It multiplies what seems diminished. The seasons of drought prepared you for stewardship. The days of silence taught you discernment. Even your mistakes have been woven into mercy's design. Nothing is wasted when placed in God's hands. Not time, not pain, not tears. You may look at others who seem further ahead and wonder if you fell behind. But remember this, your journey was never meant to be compared, because your timing is customized by heaven. When God restores time, he also restores strength. You will run with the energy of those who never stopped, and you will accomplish in 1 year what others labored decades to achieve. This restoration does not only concern opportunities or material things, it touches your soul. It heals the inner timelines where trauma froze growth. It restores laughter where sorrow muted joy. It resurrects creativity, confidence, and wonder. You will begin to feel alive again in places within you that went numb long ago. Do not be surprised if memories resurface, not to haunt you, but to heal you. Restoration brings remembrance. God revisits the places of pain, not to reopen wounds, but to close them with honor. The moments you once wished had never happened will become testimonies of transformation. The scars that once symbolized loss will soon gleam as evidence of grace. There will come a day not far from now when you will stand in awe of how seamlessly God redeemed what you thought was gone. You will see people, doors, and moments returning in divine order. You'll realize that nothing you surrendered was truly lost. It was being upgraded. When you walk through restoration, gratitude becomes your language. You stop asking why and start whispering, "Thank you." Because you realize that the one who governs eternity has rewritten your story without erasing its authenticity. Every chapter remains. But now, it's redeemed. The dark pages become contrast for the brilliance of grace that follows. Beloved, time is a servant of purpose. It bends for those who belong to destiny. Don't fear the years behind you. They are not wasted soil. They are fertile ground. What seemed barren is about to bloom with acceleration. The seeds that once lay dormant under dust are now responding to heaven's rain. You will find yourself standing in moments of restoration that feel like déjà vu, same place, same situation, but this time with new strength, new perspective, and new outcome. That's the beauty of redemption. God doesn't rewind, He redefines. The return of lost time is not just an external event, it's an internal awakening. It's you realizing that everything you thought you missed was actually preserved for the version of you that could handle it. The old you couldn't have carried what is now coming. But the refined you, the healed you are ready. So lift your eyes. Beloved, the years are returning not as ghosts of regret, but as gifts of grace. Heaven is restoring in abundance. And soon, you will see that nothing was ever truly lost. It was simply waiting for the right moment to bloom again under divine light. Chosen one. Every breakthrough arrives at the edge of breaking. You can feel it, the tension between what is and what is about to be. The pressure that surrounds you now is not punishment, it's prophecy. Heaven tightens the space before expansion. The cocoon must press before the wings can unfold. What feels like suffocation is actually transformation in motion. You've been faithful through silence, through storms, through fire, and through waiting. But this, the breaking point, is the place where most give up. It's where the weight of destiny feels unbearable and the voice of doubt becomes the loudest. Yet, beloved, hear this clearly. The breaking point is not the end. It is the threshold where heaven begins to build what hell tried to destroy. Every chosen one walks through this valley. It's the place where strength meets surrender. You reach the end of your own ability and realize that grace is the only bridge forward. You cry. You question. You wonder if you've misheard God, but underneath the ache, something sacred is happening. The shell of the old you is cracking open to release the new creation inside. As the Apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Those words are not distant comfort, they are divine revelation. The power you need will not come from striving, but from surrender. The breaking is not a signal of failure, it's a sign of transition. Heaven is shifting weight from your hands to His. When you can no longer carry yourself, grace carries you in the Spirit. This moment looks like a seed splitting underground. To the natural eye, it looks like death, but heaven calls it birth. The shell must break for life to emerge. That's why the pressure feels unbearable. It's divine design. You are not being buried again. You are sprouting. At the breaking point, your prayers change tone. You stop demanding answers and start desiring alignment. You stop asking, "Why me?" and begin to whisper, "Use me." That shift is the mark of maturity. when surrender replaces resistance. Heaven moves swiftly. Right now, heaven watches you stand in this delicate moment between exhaustion and expectancy. Angels surround you, not to rescue you from the breaking, but to ensure you don't collapse beneath it. They know what's coming. They see what's forming beyond your view. You are one breath away from breakthrough. The breaking is where faith becomes sight. It's where everything you've learned in silence and storm comes alive. It's where you finally see that what felt like loss was divine leverage. The ground that cracked beneath you is the same ground that will hold your roots steady. Beloved, the breaking point reveals what comfort could never teach. It purifies motives. It forces honesty. It burns away everything artificial until only truth remains. You cannot fake faith here. You must become it. That's why God brings His chosen to this exact place, not to test cruelty, but to teach capacity. You are stronger than you know, not because you feel strong, but because divine strength is unfolding within your weakness. You've been stretched. Yes, but stretching always precedes increase. What once seemed like too much will soon look like preparation. You will look back at this moment and realize it was the birthplace of power. And now, beloved, I ask you to mark this moment, not for me, but for heaven. Type 888 below as a declaration that you will not break under pressure, you will break into purpose. That number carries prophetic symbolism of new beginnings and resurrection. When you write it, you're saying, even here, even now, I choose to rise. You are affirming that the breaking will not bury you, it will birth you. You are sealing your faith with an act of agreement, because this is what heaven sees when it looks at you, not someone collapsing, but someone crossing over. The pain you feel is the proof that life is pushing through. Every tear is watering the soil of your destiny. Every sigh is a seed of surrender. Every crack in your heart is letting glory seep out. Soon, the pressure will break, and when it does, everything will accelerate. What once took years will unfold in moments. You will rise with fresh oil, new strength, and eyes that see beyond pain. You will understand why you had to reach the edge, because only at the edge could you learn to fly. So don't quit now. Don't confuse breaking with ending. You are standing at heaven's doorway, and the key to open it is surrender. Let go. Let God, and let grace finish what it started. The breaking point is not your fall, it is your flight. Chosen one, the light that once flickered in isolation is beginning to find its reflection in others. You were never meant to carry this fire alone. Across the earth, other lights are awakening souls that were hidden just like you, refined in silence, tested in fire, and called by the same voice. You can feel it now, can't you? That quiet pull in your spirit, the recognition that your tribe is forming. This gathering of light is not accidental. Heaven has always worked through divine connection. Long before you met them, your spirits were aligned in eternity. These are not ordinary relationships, they are covenants forged in purpose. When you meet them, you'll know your peace will confirm what words cannot. The same fire that burns in you will burn in them. Together, your flames will become a beacon for the world. In a time when division has grown like a shadow across the earth, heaven is answering with unity. The chosen are being drawn together, not to build empires, but to build altars. The sound of their voices, your voices, will carry hope into the dry places of this generation. The gathering of light is a movement of hearts, not a display of power. It's a divine symphony composed of those who survived their own darkness. As we find in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them." End that verse. So simple and ancient is the foundation of what's happening now. You don't need crowds, platforms, or fame. Heaven's power does not require scale, it requires sincerity. When 2 or 3 chosen ones gather, the air changes. Miracles begin to move quietly, like wind through trees. Presence fills the space because unity draws heaven close. This is why your hidden season mattered. It taught you discernment. You can now recognize light in others without them saying a word. You see it in their eyes, feel it in their presence, sense it in their endurance. You know who has been through the wilderness, because their humility carries the fragrance of grace. You no longer confuse charisma for calling, you look for character. The gathering of light does not mean comfort, it means collaboration. Every chosen one carries a piece of the divine puzzle. Alone, the light is powerful, but together, it becomes unstoppable. One carries wisdom, another carries compassion, another carries revelation. Heaven weaves these threads into one tapestry of impact. When the chosen unite, their differences don't divide, they define. But this gathering also tests the heart. The enemy fears unified light, so he will attempt to sow mistrust, envy, and misunderstanding among those God is bringing together. Guard your spirit. Beloved, protect your peace fiercely. The people heaven sends will not compete with your fire, they will complement it. You don't have to dim to let them shine. Your lights were meant to burn side by side. The gathering will not always look grand. Sometimes it's 2 people praying in a quiet room. Sometimes it's a message shared across oceans, finding its way into another heart like a divine thread connecting souls. The Spirit of God is knitting a network invisible to human eyes, but powerful in its unity. It's the body of Christ awakening again, not confined to walls or titles, but alive and luminous. When these connections form, you will notice how effortlessly peace flows. There's no striving, no pretense, no performance, just recognition. Like old friends meeting after lifetimes apart. You'll feel an ancient familiarity because your spirits knew each other before your names were spoken on earth. That's the beauty of divine kinship. It transcends time, culture, and distance. Together, you will move like rivers merging into one current. You will carry living water into deserts through art, words, kindness, intercession, or simple présence. The chosen don't always preach. Sometimes they just exist in light so radiant that darkness has to retreat. Every act of love becomes warfare. Every gesture of compassion becomes prophecy. Beloved, you are not being gathered for comfort, but for commission. The time of scattered lights has ended. Heaven is orchestrating an army, not of violence, but of vision. An army that heals instead of harms, restores instead of rebels, builds bridges instead of walls. Each connection formed under God's timing becomes a spark in this divine constellation. The gathering of light is heaven's answer to the darkness of this age. You will find others who burn with the same holy ache, who weep for what you weep for, who dream the dreams Heaven whispered to you in solitude. And when you find them, you'll know this truth deeply. You were never alone, only separated for a season. So let your heart remain open, your spirit discerning, and your love abundant. The gathering is already happening. You are part of a divine circle that no distance can divide. Together, you are the dawn that chases away the night. Chosen one. As the light gathers and unity begins to breathe through the earth, heaven brings you to a deeper revelation, the mystery of the crown and the cross. Two symbols, seemingly opposite, yet inseparable in the life of those who are called. You have worn both without always realizing it. The crown represents your authority, the cross represents your surrender. One gives you glory, the other gives you depth. Together, they define you. Many long for the crown, but flee from the cross. Yet, you have learned that true greatness is found not in what you gain, but in what you are willing to lay down. The cross strips away pride, ambition, and self-reliance, leaving only love pure enough to handle the weight of the crown. Every time you carried pain silently, every time you chose forgiveness over revenge, every time you served when no one thanked you, you were carrying the cross that shapes kings. The world teaches that the crown is a symbol of triumph, of victory, of being above others. But in heaven's kingdom, the crown is a reminder of responsibility. It does not rest on your head to make you superior. It rests there to remind you that you are called to serve. The higher you rise, the lower you must bow. This is the paradox of divine leadership. The crown does not make you greater, it makes you gentler. As we are reminded through the writings of Paul in Philippians, chapter 2, verses 8 and 9, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Therefore God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name. And, beloved, you have carried both. You know what it means to bleed silently and still believe. You know the weight of responsibility that comes when heaven entrusts you with influence. You've learned that glory without surrender becomes corruption, and that surrender without hope becomes despair. The balance of the two makes you unbreakable, humble yet powerful, compassionate yet courageous. There were moments when you wanted to give up, when the cross felt too heavy, when it seemed unfair that your obedience led to suffering. But now you see that the cross did not diminish you, it defined you. It gave you authority over the very pain that once threatened to destroy you. The nails that pierced your soul became keys that unlock freedom for others. The crown is not a reward for survival. It is a responsibility for stewardship. You were chosen not to dominate, but to demonstrate love that doesn't flinch in the face of pain. Your crown shines because it has been washed in tears, not polished by applause. The world crowns achievers, heaven crowns servants. And you, chosen one, have proven faithful in the quiet tests where no one watched. There will be moments in your journey where you'll feel the weight of both at once. The cross will remind you to remain grounded, and the crown will remind you of what you've overcome. In those moments, remember that both are gifts, not burdens. The cross refines you, the crown affirms you. You are meant to carry both with grace. Your story will mirror this duality. People will see your victories, but rarely comprehend the pain that produced them. Yet that is how heaven works. It hides glory inside grief, so that only the humble can handle it. You are being trusted with both, because you have proven that neither pride nor pain can alter your devotion. In time, You will learn to wear your crown lightly. You will not need to prove it or display it, because true authority is quiet. It moves through compassion, not control. When others see you, they will sense royalty, not in your posture, but in your peace. That is the mark of those who have walked the path of the cross. They reign differently. And when trials return, as they always do, you will recognize them not as punishments, but as polishing. Every season of struggle keeps your crown aligned. Every challenge ensures that you remain dependent on the one who gave it. The more you embrace the cross, the brighter the crown becomes. Beloved, you have entered the realm of mature calling. You are no longer swayed by recognition or rejection. You carry both symbols, the crown of divine authority and the cross of divine humility with unwavering grace. This is what heaven calls balance. And this is what sets you apart. Let the world chase comfort. You will chase purpose. Let others seek ease. You will seek endurance. Because you have tasted both suffering and glory, you now understand the sacred rhythm of the chosen. To rise is to bow. To lead is to love. And to carry both the crown and the cross with unshakable peace. Chosen one. Can you feel it? The shift beneath your feet. The trembling in the atmosphere. The world itself is changing. What was hidden is being revealed. What was silent is beginning to speak. You are standing inside a global awakening, the rise of light across nations. The chosen are being stirred, one by one, until the earth glows with divine recognition. The season of quiet preparation is ending. The season of divine manifestation has begun. You may look around and see chaos, divisions, despair, confusion, but don't be deceived by appearances. What looks like collapse is actually rebirth. Heaven is rearranging foundations that were built on sand so that truth can stand again. The shaking you see is not destruction, it is divine reconstruction. God is not abandoning the world, He is renewing it through those who carry His presence. As heaven declared through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 2, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and His glory appears over you. This global shift isn't happening through grand speeches or famous names. It's happening through ordinary people who carry extraordinary obedience, through mothers who pray in silence, through sons who choose integrity, through strangers who show compassion when it costs them nothing. Heaven's revolution doesn't march with noise, it moves with mercy. Beloved, this is why messages like this one reach you. You are part of something much greater than a single voice or screen. You are connected to an unseen network of light bearers across the earth, people rising in every nation, language, and culture with the same fire of purpose. This movement is not about one person leading, it's about millions awakening. And together, we keep the flame alive. When you like, share, and comment, you are not just engaging, you are amplifying light. Each small gesture is a candle passed to another soul. Someone out there, perhaps at the edge of despair, may find this message because of your simple act of sharing. You become a bridge, a lighthouse, a vessel through which heaven reaches someone else. If these words resonate, let them move you beyond listening. Subscribe to stay part of this river of revelation, a space where faith flows freely and truth meets tenderness. Each message you receive is a reminder that heaven has not gone silent, it is still speaking. still calling, still healing, and when you stay connected, you become part of that continuous sound of awakening that circles the world. There is also a deeper way to partner with this movement, a way that sustains the light for those who have yet to find it. If your heart feels led, consider sowing into this mission, not out of obligation, but out of revelation. Giving is like pouring oil into a lamp. It doesn't just keep the flame alive, it makes it brighter. Every act of generosity, no matter the size, helps carry this message further into the shadows of the world. Think of it like this: when you support, you are helping to build wells in a spiritual desert. Each word sent out is a cup of living water for a thirsty soul. You may never meet the lives it touches, but heaven keeps record of every drop poured in faith. You're not funding words, you're fueling transformation. We are all co-authors in this unfolding story of light. Every listener, every giver, every believer contributes a line to heaven's narrative on earth. Together, we are shaping a generation that chooses love over fear, faith over confusion, peace over chaos. That's what this global shift is about, replacing despair with divine perspective. And as this movement grows, as more souls awaken, you will see it in your daily life. People speaking differently, choosing kindness where they once chose criticism, hope where there once was heaviness. The shift begins in hearts before it ever changes nations. You are one of those hearts, a flame that refuses to dim. So, beloved, as you finish reading these words, pause and reflect. How will you carry your light forward? Will you hide it, or will you let it spread? If it burns in you, let it travel through your hands, your actions, your presence. Leave a comment. Your thoughts might be the spark that ignites someone else's flame. This is the hour of awakening. The world is trembling with possibility, and heaven is whispering. Now, together, we will keep building altars of truth across the digital wilderness until every shadow is pierced by light. Like, share, subscribe, and if you feel called, give not as routine, but as worship. Each act of faith becomes a seed of renewal, and soon, the garden of light will cover the earth. Chosen one. As the light spreads and the awakening unfolds, heaven begins a quieter work. The separation, it is not a division born of pride or judgment, but of destiny. The time always comes when the awakened must be set apart from the asleep, when purpose must walk a different path than comfort. You may feel this happening already. Certain conversations no longer fit. Certain circles feel smaller. Certain connections grow distant. It's not rejection, it's redirection. The final separation is not punishment, it is positioning. It is heaven's way of ensuring that your alignment matches your assignment. God is not removing people from your life to leave you lonely. He is removing noise so you can hear clearly again. The closer you draw to your divine mission, the more precise the pruning becomes. The path narrows not to confine you, but to concentrate your strength. This process can ache in ways that words can't express. You'll miss some of those you're called to leave behind. You'll remember moments that made you laugh and wonder why love wasn't enough to keep them near. But beloved, understand this: those who cannot walk with your purpose were never meant to carry your promise. Not everyone can handle the weight of your calling. Some loved your comfort, not your covenant. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Amos. Chapter 3, verse 3. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? That question is the compass of this moment. Alignment is everything. To walk with you now, one must walk at the rhythm of heaven. Those still anchored to the old ways will feel the pace of destiny as too demanding. You cannot slow your steps for those who refuse to move. Grace loves deeply, but it also releases freely. In this season of separation, silence becomes sacred again. You will feel heaven gently pulling you away from chatter that distracts and routines that drain. The Spirit will nudge you to spend more time in solitude, not to isolate you, but to refine your focus. The higher your calling rises, the less you can carry. Even good things can become heavy when they are no longer meant for this phase. This pruning is proof that promotion is near. Before God expands your reach, et clarifies your circle. Before He multiplies your influence, He reduces your distractions. He cuts not to hurt, but to heal the shape of your destiny. The gardener who prunes does so not because he doubts the tree's potential, but because he believes in its future fruit. You will feel torn between compassion and conviction. You will want to explain your silence to those who notice your distance. But the truth is, you owe no apology for obedience. Separation often looks like solitude to others, but to heaven, it looks like strategy. God is preparing you for assignments that require undivided attention. There will be moments when your heart aches for what was familiar. You'll long for old rhythms, old voices, old comfort zones. Yet, deep inside, you'll know they cannot come with you this time. The same faith that taught you to trust in God's provision must now teach you to trust in His pruning. This separation is not just external, it is internal too. God is dividing fear from faith, pride from purpose, and doubt from destiny. The battle within mirrors the cleansing without. You'll feel your desires shifting. What once fascinated you now feels hollow. What once entertained you now feels distracting. Heaven is detoxing your spirit from everything that diluted your focus. Do not resist this holy loneliness. It is temporary but transformative. Solitude is not absence, it is incubation. In this silence, your next instructions will be written on the walls of your heart. You'll begin to hear new strategies, see new visions, and feel new boldness rising. This is not the quiet of abandonment, it's the quiet before release. When the separation finishes its work, you will stand lighter, clearer, and bolder. You will no longer fear being misunderstood because you will finally understand yourself. The noise of the world will fade, and the voice of heaven will sound like home again. You'll find peace not in people's presence, but in God's positioning. And when the time comes for you to step forward again, you'll realize that nothing was lost, only filtered. The ones meant to walk beside you will reappear, not by chance, but by calling. They'll recognize your frequency because they carry the same sound. This final separation is heaven's way of saying, you're almost there. The pruning is nearly done. The distractions have fallen away. What remains is pure, precise, powerful. You are not being set apart to be alone. You are being set apart to be aligned. So breathe through the quiet. Let go with peace. Trust the gardener's hand. What he cuts today will bloom tomorrow. You are being prepared for the fullness of your assignment. And every separation is making space for greater glory. Chosen one, the moment heaven has been preparing you for is here. The long nights, the tears, the silence, The battles, all of them converge into this single, sacred truth. It is time to rise. The hidden years were never wasted. They were the foundation beneath your wings. Every struggle carved strength into your spirit. Every delay refined your discernment. Every heartbreak stretched your compassion. And now, the unveiling of your destiny begins in fullness. When heaven declares rise, it is not simply an instruction, it is an awakening of divine memory. Your spirit remembers who you are, what you carry, and why you were sent. You begin to feel the alignment of heaven and earth within you, like the hum of purpose resonating through your bones. You realize you are not stepping into something new, you are stepping into what you were always meant to be. There is a quiet majesty in this rise. It doesn't come with noise or grand display, but with clarity. The same people who once overlooked you will wonder how you moved so swiftly, yet you will know it wasn't sudden, it was sovereign. Every hidden moment led to this. Every no prepared you for the final, yes. As was spoken in the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 5, "And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all people will see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken." Oh, this is that revelation, the unveiling of glory. Not for display, but for divine purpose. You are not rising for recognition, you are rising for redemption. Your presence will begin to carry healing into places still wounded by despair. You will speak words that restore the weary and lift those who forgot how to hope. You have become a vessel of heaven's response to the earth's cry. The rise of the chosen is not one of pride, but of posture. It is the bow of surrender that lifts you higher than ambition ever could. You stand not above others, but beneath heaven's mantle. And because you have bowed low in humility, you are trusted to stand tall in glory. That is how heaven crowns its servants with weight, not vanity. In this rising, you will feel a divine boldness unlike before. Fear will lose its grip because you've already walked through the valley it once used to control you. You'll begin to speak with the authority of one who has seen God in the fire. You won't strive to prove yourself. Your peace will be your proof. You will notice how naturally doors open now, not because you chased them, but because your obedience attracted them. You will find yourself walking into places that once intimidated you, and your spirit will remain calm because you know you belong there. Not by merit, but by mercy. Heaven will place you where your light is needed most. And as you rise, remember, elevation is not separation. You are being lifted, not to leave others behind, but to lift them with you. The light that crowns you now is meant to reflect on those still in the dark. Your story is their bridge. Your endurance becomes their evidence that redemption is real. You are part of something vast, something ancient, the movement of God through His chosen across time and space. This generation is awakening, and you are one of its heralds. You will walk into rooms as a reminder that divine purpose still breathes through human vessels. You will speak, create, build, and love with the kind of purity that reignites hope in others. The rising does not mean the struggle ends. It means you now rise above it. You carry the kind of peace that storms cannot steal. You've become a sanctuary in motion, a living altar that draws heaven wherever you go. You've learned to walk with God, not as a distant deity, but as a companion, whispering through every decision, every silence, every breath. In the days to come, there will be moments when you pause and look back. You'll see how every broken piece became part of a mosaic, so intricate only heaven could have designed it. You'll weep not out of pain, but out of awe, because you'll finally understand it was all necessary. The hiding, the testing, the waiting, the pruning, all were brushstrokes on the masterpiece of your calling. Chosen one, you have journeyed through every valley and risen to every mountaintop. What you carry now is not just understanding, it is transformation. You have walked the path from hiddenness to holiness, from breaking to becoming. The words you have read were never coincidence. They were divine conversation. Heaven has written this moment into your story so you could remember who you are, chosen, crowned, and called for such a time as this. If these words stirred your spirit, let your heart respond. Like and share this message, not as routine, but as worship. When you share light, you multiply it. Someone waiting in silence right now may find their confirmation because of your small act of obedience. Comment what this journey awakened within you. Your words might be the spark that reignites another soul. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to stay connected to this flow of revelation. Every message released here is part of heaven's unfolding story, and you are written in it. Continue to rise, to love, to lead with grace. The world is waiting for your light. You were hidden for this exact moment. Now shine.